Hey guys!
Hey.
So we're back, and we just got back to Ohio from our last trip to Knoxville for Me to Work weddings.
Yes.
So we are now settling into our space here in Ohio. We also got the last little bit of stuff from our house in Knoxville, so we don't have any more moving to do.
Nope.
We're completely done. It took a month, but we're completely done.
Oh,
So now we
over.
just need to unpack some stuff and settle into this space, and we will be here permanently.
Yes, and when we have all that situated, we hopefully will give you a tour soon.
Yeah,
We'll see how long it takes us to get everything where we want.
Definitely in the plans.
Yep.
So on Friday when we were traveling to Knoxville, we posted on our Facebook page to ask us questions, and we would answer questions on our way back home, since it's a 6-hour ride.
Yeah.
But when we started to film in the car, we didn't have enough battery. So we just,
It was so sad.
It was really disappointing because I let you guys ask questions all weekend. We got some really great ones, and then I was so ready and like so pumped
I washed my hair.
to answer, and then we couldn't film. So now we're home, and we're gonna go ahead and answer these questions for you guys, and hopefully get them up tonight so that all of your FPIES and otherwise questions
Yeah.
are answered. So here we go.
We have some good ones.
I'm going to use my phone here to pull up these questions. Our first question comes from Ashley, and she asks, how do you find the time to prepare all of the food for Ty? I feel like I'm drowning with all the things we have to avoid for Reagan. And do we have to just make her a separate meal? We are in a bad dinner rut.
Oh.
Do you want to answer that, or want me to answer that?
What's the first part?
How do you find time to prepare all of the food for Ty?
Instant pot. We probably use the Instant Pot at least 2-3 times a day, because he eats a lot of squash, carrots, things that are just need a lot of cooking time. And so if you're used to using your oven, it takes a long time to cook squash. It takes a long time to roast carrots. So that especially Ty is just under 2 years old and only has like 2 molars. So he can't chew a whole lot. So anyway, long story short is to get a pressure cooker, or something that you don't mind just having to cook all day, because it makes a big difference.
Even like a crock pot slow cooker would work too. If you just wanted to fill it with water and toss in a safe food and let it cook all day, that way it's just one less thing you have to be hands-on with, or checking the oven, and
Pre-cooking meats.
You can leave the house.
Yeah. If you like pre-cook a lot of meat, like if you can do ground beef or chicken, stuff that you know is going to be eaten within that week, you can have it already made. And just, we used to do this, which we need to get back into, which is prepping our meals. Like on Sunday afternoons.
Batch cooking.
Yeah, we'd batch cook on Sunday afternoons, so that the whole week's meals were good to go. Some would go in the freezer, and that's another video, but anyway.
And the answer to the second part of your question is yes, we do cook separate food for Ty.
Yes.
What my plan is with the Instant Pot is anytime it's not working, I put it to work. So if I see the Instant Pot empty, I will go ahead and toss in some safe food, or start a batch of broth, or start meat. And sometimes that's things that we're going to eat as a family. Sometimes those are things that just Ty is going to eat. And I just always have it working. And I use quart-size mason jars, and the wide mouth ones because they're a lot easier to get your hand in and pull out carrots or potatoes or whatever. Sweet potato, squash chunks, whatever you've cooked. So I use wide mouth jars, and that's what I use for storage. So when everything's cooked, I just put it into a jar and put it in the fridge. And even if we have several jars full of food in the fridge, I will still continue to use the Instant Pot, because the volume of food that Ty eats is enormous. He eats more than most adults. So we are constantly cooking for him. It'd be nice if I could just batch cook for him on a Sunday afternoon and cook everything he's going to eat in 1 week, but I honestly don't think I'd be able to fit it in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I was just thinking
that. So it's
a lot
easier
of food.
for Ty's food for us to just Instant Pot a couple times a day.
Well, and actually, we've been talking recently that on Black Friday, Instant Pots might be going on sale in several places, and we might get a second one because we use it so much.
Yeah, and this is not sponsored, by the way.
No, not sponsored.
But if Instant Pot wants to sponsor us, we're totally open.
Oh yeah.
Instant Pot, whatever way you cook the easiest, just always have in the back of your mind some kind of safe food that you can toss in and start cooking, and that's pretty much how we do it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is from Anna, and she says, how easy is it to find childcare in your new area that takes seriously TIE's FPIES? Have you been able to leave the kiddos with anyone yet? And how does that confine y'all as working moms? So
Well,
that is actually a really interesting question because we're kind of in that right now. We have moved closer to some family, but obviously farther from most of our friends and family since we lived in Knoxville for 10 years. And so that's where most of the people that we know and trust with our kids are.
Yep.
So since we are here in Mansfield, right now I have not been working during the week, but I'm about to start working from home. And when I work from home, we are going to need childcare for a couple of hours a day where mine and Michelle's jobs overlap. And what we have done is we've gone on care.com and put out kind of like a little job listing for our area, and a couple people have already applied. And in the next few weeks, we will start interviewing people to come in and hang out with the kids for a few hours while I work.
Yeah.
So we have not, so basically I don't have an answer yet to how seriously other people will take his FPIES because we haven't started interviewing people yet, but I am coming up with a nice little list of questions, and I have asked in a few groups the right questions to ask in the interview, and coming up with kind of a plan for how we want the kids to be fed if this person helps with any meals. But yeah, and I think that actually I want to make a whole video about that, about interview questions with an FPIES child for a care provider, things to ask and things to inform someone who's going to be caring for an FPIES kid.
How to make it easy for a care provider to come in and feed your kid.
Yeah, right. The second part of her question is, how does that confine you as working moms? And it confines us a lot. I mean, we can't just drop Ty off at daycare. Right. And so because of that, one of us needs to be home, or we need to have in-home care providers that can be here while we kind of keep watch. Luckily, we've had jobs so far where we kind of alternate, and one of us is home while the other one is working, but that's a little bit harder now that we've moved because I'm looking for a new job since I obviously can't do wedding hair for the same company since we're in a new state. So I am looking to continue doing wedding hair starting in the spring so that we can have that kind of schedule again, and I can be home with the kids during the week like I always have been, and then Michelle can be home with the kids on the weekends while I work weddings. Right. That's ideal. But for now, we're just kind of going with the flow and doing what works for us, and we'll just see how this works out, and if it works out great, we'll keep it up, and if not, we'll adjust and find something different.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot to count because I forgot about this question, but Megan asks, how many safes does Ty have now?
Oh man.
She also says, can you categorize them, and how did the gut healing go?
Okay.
So do you want to count the safes real quick? Just real quick. Maybe I'll edit this out. So the board is up, but go ahead and count real quick.
So
while she counts, I will say how we categorize them. Categorizing them is actually a really interesting question because I've been working on the idea of categorizing them on the board so that we have proteins and fats, and then trying to decide how to do the plants, the veggies and the fruits, and the seasonings and spices, because he now has a lot of things like garlic and dill and mustard and things like that. So those are all on his board as well. In my mind, they're in proteins, fats, and veggies. Those are the main things that we try to get into every meal. And then, of course, fruit is fun, and he loves fruit, and he wants to eat fruit all the time, but we try to, the main meals are proteins, fats, veggies.
Yeah.
So, did you count?
33.
33 safes.
Which is a lot.
Yes. This time last year, we've been on YouTube for a year now.
Yeah.
This time last year, he had like
10?
Maybe
10.
I want to say like 4 or 5 actually. We'll have to go back and look.
Maybe it was only 4 or 5.
Because when we did his birthday last January, he had very few safes. So anyway, he's come a really long way. He has a lot of safes. And the last part of your question is, how did the gut healing go? And that's the reason why he has so many safes. Yeah. Ty gained like probably 5 safes just through doing GAPS diet. Yeah. He got eggs back fully as a safe. He had gained onions, and then through the process, I was using Bubby's pickles as his fermented food. So he gained not only the cucumbers and the pickles, but all of the spices and seasonings that are used in Bubby's pickles, which is where he got the dill seasoning and the mustard seed and all of those things from. So he gained honey as a safe, and then right after that we trialed cashews, and he's just been on a food passing frenzy since then. So gut healing went really great. GAPS was absolutely amazing. We want to do the GAPS intro again so that we can all be on board, because at the time Michelle was up here in Mansfield and I was in Knoxville, so it was just me and Ty on GAPS. But I think we want to do it for the whole family and go through the intro again and see if we can get him some more safes after that, because it was incredible. Oh, he also gained cabbage because I used sauerkraut a little bit. When we ran out of pickles, I moved on to sauerkraut, and so he gained cabbage as a safe through gut healing as well. So, and we've just noticed a lot of changes in him. His belly doesn't get as round and distended anymore, and it definitely was a good thing. And I feel like we should have done it for longer, but our lives were really chaotic then, so we need to just...
We'll go around 2.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Next question is from Ashley. And she says, having a mobile toddler who doesn't yet understand his food restrictions seems impossible to manage. How do you guys make sure that he doesn't get a hold of unsafe foods, especially outside of your home?
This happens a lot because we don't want to just stay home all the time. We want to see friends, we want to go to parties, birthday parties, all that kind of stuff. And our society just has food everywhere. So Ty does really great in a carrier.
Yeah, my number one answer is baby wearing.
Yes. So,
that's the shortest answer to this question.
Yeah, we've been baby wearing both kids since they were born. And Ty still goes on my back just about everywhere we go.
Happily.
Yeah, he loves it up there. And it's easy. And so it's not that we don't let him play, because of course we do. But when it starts to become something where we're like, okay, he's noticing the food and he's going for the food, then it's usually 3 strikes and he's out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to
it's just not
take
safe.
away the experience. Yeah.
Right, and it's not safe to, let him keep, because he is a food thief. He does try to take food from other people, whether he knows them or not. And other people, say, we've been to a lot of times at the park, he'll go try to crash birthday parties under pavilions or people that we don't know. And people think they're being
balloons.
See, people think they're being nice and like sharing with him, being, oh, it's okay if he has a cupcake, and we're like, oh gosh, it's not okay that he has a cupcake. Trying to keep him away.
So it's a slow-mo reach, like
yes.
Yeah.
So we we'll just put him up on one of our backs if he's having a hard time resisting stealing other people's food. And I know that won't work forever, but hopefully by the time he outgrows this phase of willingly going onto our backs in a carrier, he is old enough to understand and communicate with us, and we can communicate with him, and he understands safe food, not safe food, and maybe he won't be so obsessed with it at that point too.
Yep. So, baby ready for the win.
Yeah. Charla asks, what are your 3 best Amazon food finds?
Oh, for who?
She didn't specify. So we don't really order a whole lot of food on Amazon. However, there are some foods that we eat a lot or that we have for Ty that we could get on Amazon. We don't get them on Amazon because sometimes we find other sites where they're either cheaper or easier to order. My number 1 is the tea chino. We've been talking about it a lot on our personal Facebook pages and posting pictures of it on our Instagram page. Tea chino is amazing. It's a tea blend that tastes like coffee. So we are mostly caffeine free. Michelle gets really bad migraines if she drinks caffeine.
I do.
So, nobody really needs tons of caffeine. I know that's hard, but you feel so much better when you detox from it.
Yes.
So I make little lattes with an air frother in the morning. I use dairy-free milk and maple syrup and the tea chino, and every morning I make it, and that's what we drink to replace coffee. So that is on Amazon, probably my number 1. My number 2, I would say, is the Aroid coconut cream or coconut milk. We have been fortunate enough to live near markets where we can find it. In Knoxville, you can get it at Sunrise Market. You don't have to worry about corn or soy in the lining because it does not come in a can. It comes in a little carton box, and you cut cut the corner off, and then you have to pour it into a jar or something to store it. But that's the best
Like
coconut
a
milk.
wide mouth mason jar.
Not
Also
sponsored.
not sponsored. We'll also take free mason jars, Mason, if you have any laying around.
But yeah, so that's my favorite coconut cream
Yeah.
and coconut milk. It's great in everything. It's got a really pure taste too.
Yes.
And probably the last would be freeze-dried fruit. We should buy freeze-dried fruit on Amazon more, but we usually forget and end up buying a bunch of it at the regular grocery store and not saving the money that we should, buying it in bulk on Amazon in big packs. But those are probably the 3 top ones.
Right.
The coconut cream and coconut milk though, and the Ticino, those are not for Ty. Those are not safe for him. He just does not react to those things through my milk. So we can eat them and have them in the house safely, pretty much, because those are not foods for him. But the freeze-dried fruit are for him. He can go through some freeze-dried apples, freeze-dried pears, big time.
Yep.
So, all right. And the next question is, how do you get past the fear of a reaction when trialing a food? My boy reacts to oats, and I'm terrified to give him anything.
So with trialing, it's always nerve-wracking. And I think what we've done is, because Ty has failed so many times, it just builds up your nerves. And that's not really the best answer, but that's true. I mean, you just learn cues from your kid. You learn how to deal with what's happening at that time, and you build up the confidence to be able to handle that. We have a hospital bag always ready to go. It has stuff for all of us, including Max, what we need for a hospital visit. And it's just, you build up armor,
Yeah, and as horrible as it sounds, the more you deal with a fail, the more confident you will be that if it happens again, you will be able to handle it. We're really good at administering Zofran, and now we are so good at stopping Ty's reactions that we don't feel like we always have to go to the hospital. We're just, we administer the Zofran, and if the symptoms start to reverse, we just stay home and just monitor him, make sure he gets hydrated, and we just really watch him closely and make sure that he doesn't vomit again. So we are so comfortable with handling those reactions because, unfortunately, we've had to do it a lot.
Yeah.
And then also, just the more passes you gain, the more you'll realize that every food is literally a 50-50 chance. They may fail it, but they may pass it. And when you get those passes and those gains, it will motivate you to move forward, and it takes a little bit of that fear away that, yes, your child can pass a solid food and not, get sick. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. There's nothing that actually takes the fear away. You will always be afraid of a reaction. You'll always be afraid of what could happen. But being confident in the choice that you're making the right decision and trialing foods for your child, and confident that if something does go wrong, you can handle it, is really the only advice that we can give.
Yeah, and set yourself up for success too. Don't trial a new food at the end of the day.
Yes. Oh, we made that mistake.
We've given him stuff like 2 hours before bedtime, and he's laid down and woken up with,
Sick.
being sick. So, just be smart about it, plan it out well. Make sure there's weekend days or days where maybe you and your partner are both home as part of the trial days, so that if you have other kids, or that way you can both go to the hospital and be there for each other. That's important too, to be there for each other and to have a support system while you're trialing, especially something as scary as oats.
Yeah.
Everyone in the FPIES world knows that oats are
It's
scary.
like the number 2 trigger.
We're actually trialing oats right now for Ty, so keep your fingers crossed. He's doing really well with it right now. But but yeah, so I think having a good support system is really important, and having a plan.
Yep. All right, last question. The last question was from Amanda, and she said, "What are you going to eat tonight?" And the reason why she asked that question, Amanda is my boss with Southern Sirens in Knoxville, where I was doing wedding hair before we moved. And the reason she asked that question is because last night the Southern Sirens team took me out for dinner as my farewell dinner. and we went out to Mexican food. It was my choice, and that's my favorite.
It is.
And other than sushi, which obviously I can't eat sushi because I can't eat rice. So I chose to go out to Mexican food, and she wanted to know what I was going to order because with the restricted diet, it seems like Mexican may not be the best choice, but it actually worked out really well. So I will tell you guys what I ordered. So just for a little bit of background on what we have as safes right now that I can eat, Ty has corn as a safe. It's not something that we like to eat a lot of because of GMOs and hard to find corn that's not super cross-contaminated.
Digestion.
Lots of things that I could rant about with corn for a long time, but
I
will
said
say
digestion. Did you hear that?
digestion.
I said digestion.
It's her first day. It's okay.
I'm just so nervous in front of the camera.
But anyway, so corn is safe. Long story short, wheat Ty does not react to through my milk, but he can't have it directly, and which obviously at a Mexican restaurant you can always get a corn tortilla if you can't have wheat. And what else? Dairy, I just asked for it to not be on there.
Right.
So, do you remember what I ordered?
You ordered the fajitas with shrimp. Is there beef in there too?
I think so.
Chicken and chorizo. I think there was 4 meats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But instead of the rice, you got double beans with guacamole and the pico and all that good stuff.
My veggie plate.
Your veggie plate, yes. And then I ordered stuff with all the bad stuff on it.
Oh, and I said no cheese and no sour
cheese.
cream.
No sour cream, right.
Right.
And I got stuff smothered in cheese.
On top of rice. But what'd you do?
Yeah. Oh, but mine came with avocado slices. And usually they just put it on top, but I ordered it. I don't like avocado. And so, I know, I'm sorry. But I ordered avocado on a separate plate to give it to Linda.
Yeah.
So that way it wasn't contaminated.
Like cheese germs.
But yeah, I said to put it on a different plate. And that way I could just shimmy it over to her side of the table so she could have it.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't wasted.
So that's what we had. We ate chips and salsa, and then I ate my fajitas and all of my veggies and everything with just no cheese or sour cream on it, and no rice. And it was really, really good, and it was a ton of food, and I have a bunch of it in the refrigerator as leftovers.
You do.
So I'll probably eat that for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
That is it for all of your questions. Thank you guys so much for asking questions on our page. Don't forget to follow our Facebook page if you aren't already. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter.
At Our Lives and FPIES.
Yes, and it's a little bit different on Instagram. It's just Our Lives FPIES, but I share all of our social media handles in the description box below. So find us there, and yeah, feel free to ask questions anytime.
Yes, please.
And maybe we will be making another Q&A video soon.
Maybe.
We have a lot of really exciting content coming your way soon. We have lots of ideas. We're going to be really trying to hit it hard and get this channel back going just like it was before we moved. So stay tuned. Share this channel with your friends and family to spread FPIES awareness.
Yes.
Don't forget to feed yourselves well. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.